Good evening, everybody. Alan Zlotorzynski for the Brevard Sports Network. It's been a while since we have been together here in the BSN studios in beautiful downtown Melbourne. There's a reason we are here today. And if you can't tell by my shirt, yes, it's an old CC with an old hustler on it, the old B on it. But nonetheless, it's an MCC shirt. As tonight, I am honored to be here with the new head football coach for the Melbourne Central Catholic Hustlers. And instead of me sitting here running my mouth, let's just get right into this and welcome the new head football coach for the Hustlers, Ryan Schneider. Coach Schneider, first of all, congratulations and welcome back to the studios. How weird does it sound to hear your name and hear new head football coach, Melbourne Central Catholic?
Not at all. It was a natural fit. It was a smooth process, and I'm extremely excited to start over there and get to know the kids, get to know the community, and I'm looking forward for great things being built over there.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see what you guys do over there. And I know this just happened. Yesterday was honestly, I wrote it was the worst kept secret in Brevard County. But the bottom line, Coach, is that I know. And before we move on and talk anything about Melbourne Central Catholic, I think it's important to go back a little bit here because I know how much Coco meant to you, and I know that you would. I know you want to. I know there's something you want to say. So,
Yeah, I just
shoot at it, man.
Coco was an unbelievable place. I have nothing bad to say about the community or the school. Principal Stewart is the best principal I think in the country. She's an unbelievable woman. She's a leader. She loves the kids. She's always there. She's always there for to support everything. It's a place that I will have lifelong friends. It's a place that I'm blessed to be able to coach and get to know people there. And it's a place. Coco's going to be fine. Coco's going to be Coco, and they're going to do a great job. I know they're going to hire a great head coach, and I wish them the best of luck. And I have nothing bad to say about Coco. It's a place I will always have a warm spot in my heart, and a place I always have fond memories of.
The second worst kept secret in the county, Coach, is that this was possibly a move that may have happened a couple of years ago. I know you thought about it. You didn't take it then. Why was now the right time to do this?
A couple of years ago, I was offered the job, and something just didn't feel right.
Right.
I honestly feel like God kind of put me where I was supposed to be.
Sure.
And I was able to stay at Coco, and had two more really successful years there, winning a third straight state championship. And then I feel like there's something in me now that's telling me, all right, it's time to move. This is the time, and I feel like God's put me where He wants me to be, and I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to start this journey at MCC, and we have a great principal in Ed Henry, and I'm really looking forward to what we're going to build and the potential that school has.
Yeah, let's talk about now. Melbourne Central Catholic and what obviously when you look around, listen, you're part of the Florida Coaches Coalition. You do a lot of work. You went up to Tallahassee last year. You're an advocate for higher coaching pay. You read through some of the comments, and obviously people are like money, money, money. But this wasn't just about money.
No, not at all.
Talk about that.
Not at all. It was just an opportunity to build something new, and it was just what my heart was telling me to go do. It's that private school setting. There's just the school setting. Being in the private school, there's a lot more advantages you could have there. Just not athletically, but just help a kid become the best they can be.
Right.
When you're in a classroom surrounded by kids trying to get the best grades they can get, they're not there to mess around. A lot of times you can see these kids flourish and become the best humans they can become, and be part of a culture like that, be part of a community like that, a family like that. It's something that really I gravitated towards, and I'm really, really excited. Just not for the football, but for the whole school day of being around, kids who want to be the best they can be every day, and that's going to be an awesome experience.
This is not your first foray with a private school. You were the offensive coordinator there under Stacy Sizemore, 2017. You spent time with Roger Harriet down and university and with Harriet at both St. Thomas and the university school. This is not your first foray. It's kind of a full circle move for you. Coach, what did you learn at Cocoa? I mean, I don't think it's talked about enough. The job that you and your staff did at Cocoa, a Title I public school with limited resources, Coach, unable to do the things that a lot of schools are able to do. But you and your staff went and you got these things done. What did you learn at Cocoa over the last 8 years that makes you a better coach now at Melbourne Central Catholic?
That there's no excuses and just hard work will get a lot of things accomplished.
Yeah.
If you just put your head down and just work hard and grind nonstop, you'll get things done. It might not be perfectly the way you envision it, but you'll get the results that you're hoping for. And being at Cocoa with a great staff and surrounded by great people, made it a lot easier. And Coach Folston, says it all the time. We do more with less. And not talking about the kids, just by the resources. People think Cocoa, we got all this stuff for free. No, that doesn't happen at all.
Right.
We had to grind every year just to be able to put the kids T-shirts and pregame meals and stuff like that. And we worked our butts off, and it was a grind. But now I'm looking forward to taking that same work ethic to the next level.
What did you I know you're good friends with Coach Harriet down at St. Thomas. I think I've lost track on how many state championships he won in running. It's 8 now. But working with a guy like him, having access to a guy like that, his ear, what do you learn from a guy like that for a private school job like this?
I've been talking to him almost daily. Bouncing ideas off of him about how they're doing workouts, how they're doing the off season, how he's handling different situations. He's a great dude. I love Roger Harriet. He's one of my best friends, and he's been a resource for me, and I will continue to talk to daily. Yeah,
no doubt. Here with Ryan Schneider, the new head football coach at Melbourne Central Catholic, and Coach, I mean, it's kind of weird, because all of these changes. I mean, being at Cocoa, you certainly. I don't have the exact number. It may be up there on the screen, but. The amount of student athletes that you've sent to go on to play college football, not just D1P4 college football, Coach, but college football, period, and the ever-changing landscape of college football and things like that. For student athletes today, and, you now going to MCC, what's changing at the high school level, Coach?
The kids just have to concentrate on their academics.
Yeah.
Academics are going to get you through, the days of, just being eligible and getting a college scholarship.
2.0 is not cutting.
Yeah, no, the 3.0, you have to have a 3.0. If you don't have a 3.0, you're legit not serious about going to college.
Right.
So, now coming out of high school, you're competing against all these guys in the transfer portal. And now having to deal with that, you have to present yourself the best product that you can be coming out of high school, which means your academics, your what you're doing on and off the field, your on-field production, everything has to align. And if you're not doing that, it's just going to be difficult for you to really be on it, to truly go to college and be successful.
Here with Ryan Schneider, the new head football coach at Melbourne Central Catholic. All right, Coach, let's take a little deeper dive here, because I think this is a fair question, what I'm about to ask here. You interviewed for the job at Melbourne Central Catholic. You didn't have it. They were still interviewing candidates, and you stepped down at Cocoa. Let's theoretically say this doesn't happen. I'm not going to ask you where you would be or where you would go, but my question circles back to this now. Why was it now the time to leave Cocoa?
So I'm a firm believer in trying to do things the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got out that I was interviewing for MCC, the Cocoa community and the program started to waver a little bit. We had a couple kids transfer out, a couple kids talking about transferring, and I just felt like that it was the right time for me to step down, just so they can get someone in there and move on.
Right.
I felt like, my heart, that I felt like I ran my journey, I ran my race at Cocoa. I felt like, it was just time for something new in my life, and I felt like that was the proper time for the kids and that program to be able to get someone new in there and have time to get to know those kids and run the program the way he wanted to run, instead of holding it off. And now, that was 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
That, they'd start their job search today. That would be more difficult on them. I just tried doing things the right way in my mind.
I wrote that, you've won 3 state championships, 83 games over 8 seasons, the accomplishments, the list, the Florida Dairy Farmers back-to-back player of the years, all those accomplishments are terrific. But I don't know that you or your staff did a better job of coaching than you did this past year. At 2-4, injuries mounting, young quarterbacks literally broken in half, from injuries. Young roster, young running backs, and yet you still managed to rack up 19 in a row in terms of a Final Four. So I'm curious at 2-4, what did you do to turn that thing around? Because I'm sure it's a lesson that you'll be taking with you here.
It was just, honestly, just no excuses. Do your job and let's work hard.
Let's just go.
Let's just work hard. Yeah, the outside noise is insane right now, and everyone's let's literally put our blinders up, worry about what we're doing that day at that moment, and just work the hardest we can work, and be able to turn around and be able to have success off of that.
I want to talk about that for a second because I'll say it. You don't have to. Broadcasting Cocoa football as we have over the years, I've never heard some of the things I heard coming from the stands that I heard this year, or read some of the things. I often say social media gives cowards of the world a voice at times, an unnecessary voice. But I've seen things written. I've heard things this year that I personally didn't like, that I can only imagine how it made you and your staff feel. Look, you guys are human beings. You're coaches. These are student athletes. You don't make a lot of money doing this. Coach, when you hear these things, did what you hear or what you saw this year play any role whatsoever in you wanting to get out?
For me, myself, not really. I'm kind of used to that.
Sure.
But the way I saw people I care about, from my parents to my family members, having to hear it, that was kind of
stung.
That was kind of hurtful.
Sure.
Now, that's not the reason I left.
No, absolutely not.
That's not the reason I left. But this year was a little bit different when it comes to people's opinions. You
right.
know, and I get my job and what we do. On social media, people are going to say things.
Right.
But when my parents are sitting there,
you got a great family.
Yeah, my parents are sitting there, and they're hearing things about their son. It gets a little difficult sometimes, but it's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in. You're absolutely right. Well done there, Coach. That's for sure. I think it's a great opportunity. Looking around the NFL this year, being a Ravens fan, they fired our head coach, and so and the word was it was just time for a change. That's just what it feels like here.
Yeah,
it was just time.
Yeah,
no doubt. What do you? Okay, so I know this has been an absolute whirlwind. What are you looking forward to the most at Melbourne Central Catholic? Like, I guess when you look at this program and you look at the success that you were there when they were 8-4 that year. The year before you got there, Coach Sizemore had them in the Final Four. This is a program capable of winning a 1A state championship year in and year out. What are your expectations? What are your goals?
We are just going to help try to build the best men that we can build.
Right.
From on and off the field. We want godly men who are going to do things the right way all the time. On and off the field, they're going to be great husbands. They're going to be great brothers. They're going to be great men in the future. They're going to be leaders of the future. That's all I care about, is just trying to build that. If we win or lose games, that's great.
Right.
But all I care about is trying to help these men become the best they can be on and off the field.
Great answer. And I got to ask this question. You sat here a couple of years ago, and I said, Coach, what's the streak number? What's the number that frightens you the most about being the guy responsible for breaking a Cocoa? And you said, I do not want to end that darn Final Four streak. Well, you didn't. Mm-hmm. You leave with it intact at 19. But, Coach, as you look back, the 3 state championships, the 250 passing yards a game, the 2 Florida Dairy Farmers Players of the Years, the Harts, the Wideners, all of the great players that you've had come through there. When you take a deep breath right now, or maybe you're driving down the road and you look back, what are some of your fondest memories of Cocoa?
Oh, the stuff that people don't ever see.
Yeah.
The stuff that was in the locker room where the Nicky Teeters making a joke, or the Josh Browns coming to me and saying things that, in moments of adversity, like those are the moments that people
right.
never see, the little one-on-one conversations, the moments in the locker room, the coaches, meetings on Sunday morning where we're sitting there trying to figure out how we're going to win a game, and those are the moments. That's what I cherish. Those are the moments that I live for. And we talk about the streak. Well, we're going to start the streak at MCC of is having success and then doing things the right way.
Coach, well, I know you got a meet and greet coming up this Thursday night at MCC, and I know you're going to have a meeting with your players. But for the community, MCC has a very loyal following of fans. That place, the Hive, is packed on Friday nights. What do you want that community to know about what they can expect from Ryan Schneider and his staff?
I'm honored to be a part of the community. I'm honored to be part of the family. I'm looking forward to getting to work, and we will do the best we can to represent the school and the community and everyone the right way.
No doubt about it. Coach, congratulations. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing. It's odd. I'm not going to lie. It's definitely going to be a little strange from the black and the orange to now the yellow, gold, and the green. But good for you, Coach. I know that this is something that this is the next step in your career, man. This is well earned, well deserved, and congratulations.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to spending the next 20 years as an MCC hustler.
There you go. All right, that'll wrap it up from the studios here on Brevard Sports Network. It is really, listen, I know it's just going to seem strange, and it'll take some getting used to. Quick story before we get out of here. Jackson Robb texted me yesterday, and he said, now it feels like I left Brevard County. And I said, what do you mean? He said, there are just certain things that the whole death, taxes, Coco practicing on Thanksgiving. Well, Jackson knows no other coach on the sidelines than Ryan Schneider during his tenure. So he was like, now it really feels like it's changing for me, from a personal standpoint. And I understand what he means by that as well. It's going to be weird. Good luck to Coco in their search for the next Ryan Schneider or John Wilkinson or whoever it should be that comes along to continue the great tradition of Tiger football. And good luck to Coach Schneider as the Hustlers get set to open a new era. For Ryan Schneider, I'm Alan Zlotorzynski for the Brevard Sports Network. Have a great night, everybody.